Saigon is a successful male companion who helps wealthy women with their personal needs. One morning, he hears a disturbance in the hotel lobby and finds his best friend Kato in a heated argument with a woman at the front desk. The woman accuses Kato of making inappropriate comments and giving her his business card. When the hotel staff calls security, Saigon steps in, takes the woman aside, and apologizes, explaining that Kato is upset after his fiancée left him. Later, in the changing room, Saigon advises Kato to wait for women to approach first in their line of work. Kato complains that it's easy for Saigon to say, as he is always in demand and doesn't struggle to find clients. Saigon notices a scar on Kato's torso and briefly remembers the tragic event that caused it. To lift his friend's spirits, Saigon suggests they go buy a tuxedo after Kato's shower. At a New Year's Eve party, Saigon points out wealthy women who might be interested in their services. While there, Sarap sees her husband dancing with another woman and walks off, briefly making eye contact with Saigon. Later, Saigon helps Nahir when she loses her balance after breaking a heel, and she thanks him for his help. She expresses doubts about performing that night due to her broken shoe. Later, Nahir finds Saigon trying to play the piano. She joins him and finishes the song, then offers him a drink. She asks if he enjoys fireworks, and Saigon shares that he used to imagine the personal accomplishments behind the grand displays. When he mentions disliking cover versions of songs, Nahir worries he didn't like her singing earlier. Saigon teases her, saying she was fine. Suddenly, Saigon gets a call from Sarap asking him to come to the bedroom. Enjoying their conversation, Saigon asks Nahir to meet him again in 30 minutes. In the bedroom, the client quickly wants to spend time together, but Saigon calmly tells her that her husband is at the party. She then gives him a watch as a gift, and he asks what's wrong. Sarap explains that her husband complains about back pain when they're together, but when he sees a beautiful woman at a party, he has no trouble dancing. Saigon suggests she consider a divorce, but Sarap worries about how it might affect their daughter, Fulya. Afterward, Sarap offers to take care of all his financial needs if he stops seeing other clients. Meanwhile, Nahir tells Fulya she can't perform tonight because she broke her shoe. However, when Fulya says she's leaving the party since she only came to watch Nahir sing, the musician asks her to stay because she wants to see Saigon again. In the bedroom, Sarap tells Saigon that he deserves more than just being with women for money. Saigon thinks she's had too much to drink, but she apologizes and asks why he finds it hard to commit. She wonders if she is too boring or too old for him. Saigon reassures her, saying she is beautiful. Sarap adds that she can offer him everything he wants in life, a nice house, a dream car, and all she asks is that he doesn't see anyone else. Soon, Saigon moves into the beautiful house that Sarap arranged for him and prepares an elegant dinner. Shortly after, Kato arrives and is impressed by his friend's new place. He's pleased to find that Saigon has already set up his bedroom. Saigon asks if Kato has stopped associating with the wrong people, and Kato assures him that he has changed. When they hear Sarap's car pulling up, Saigon quickly tells Kato to leave. As Sarap enters, she opens her coat, revealing her undergarments, but quickly covers herself when she sees Kato in the room. Saigon quickly explains that Kato is the pizza delivery guy just leaving. Without wasting time, he and Sarap go to the bedroom. Later that night, Kato injects something into his side before performing for a client. Meanwhile, Sarap tells Saigon that tomorrow is her daughter Fulya's birthday, but she's unsure how to celebrate since Fulya only likes music. She also mentions that Fulya's best friend is so pretty, it makes her daughter feel insecure. Saigon suggests arranging a casual meeting with a good friend of his to help boost Fulya's confidence. At Fulya's birthday party, Saigon gives Kato tips on how to impress the client. He then notices Nahir, who expresses her frustration about him standing her up at the New Year's Eve party. Saigon apologizes, explaining that he had something urgent to take care of, but Nahir walks away and returns to her table with Fulya. As Kato introduces himself to the ladies, Saigon realizes that Nahir is Fulya's best friend. He calls Kato over to the bar and tells him to stop with the client. However, Kato, who is a little drunk, insists he can still charm the shy client, which catches Nahir's attention. While Kato approaches Fulya again, Saigen apologizes to Nahir for his friend's behavior. Later, as Saigen watches Nahir sing on stage, he gets a call from Sarap. After stepping out of the bar to take the call, Nahir feels disappointed, thinking Saigen doesn't like her singing. She follows him outside and offers to sing a different song, but he tells her he's tired and politely turns down her offer. She hints that she would like to spend more time with him, but he gently brushes her off. To clear his mind, Saigen goes to another bar. Hours later, he returns to the party, thinking about telling Nahir the truth. However, when he can't find the right words, an irritated Nahir stands up and leaves. Outside, she becomes sick on Saigen's coat. He takes her home to take care of her. Later, Nahir asks Saigen to stay with her while she sleeps on the couch. He watches as she writes about imaginary fireworks in her notebook. The next morning, Sarap walks in and finds Saigen sleeping beside Nahir. He wakes up, realizing it was all just a dream. Soon after, Kato arrives and scolds Saigen for letting the woman walk to the bus stop in the rain. Saigen drives to the bus stop, but Nahir refuses to get in the car until he answers her questions. She asks if he's married or has a girlfriend, to which he replies no. Eventually, she gets in the car and asks why he seems interested but won't open up. Instead of answering, Saigen suggests they watch a movie. That evening, after Saigen drives Nahir home, he ignores a call from Sarap. Meanwhile, Kato reluctantly participates in a strange encounter with a couple. When Saigen returns to the house, Sarap asks why he didn't answer her calls, but he avoids the topic. She then mentions how much her daughter enjoyed the party and asks if there's anything he wants as a thank you, like a motorcycle or a vacation. To her surprise, Saigen says he already has everything he needs and just wants to rest. Seeing her confusion, he clarifies that the move to the new house has been tiring and he needs to catch up on sleep. Before leaving, Sarap gives Saigen Kato's payment and tells him to inform his friend not to interact with Fulya again. When Kato arrives, he expresses his disgust over the latest session with the couple. Saigen reminds him he doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to and can walk away. Kato, frustrated, insists that these situations must be taken seriously. He adds that unlike Saigen, he doesn't have a gentlemanly reputation, so he's stuck with these things. To calm him down, Saigen gives Kato the payment and tells him not to contact Fulya again. Kato feels it's unfair since Saigen can still see Nahir, despite his promise to Sarap. The next day, Sarap finds out that Fulya and Kato made dinner plans for the following day, going against her strict instruction that Kato stop all communication with her daughter. Later, Sarap visits the house to demand that Kato stop speaking to Fulya. She then asks Saigen if something is going on, as he's been acting distant lately. His vague response only frustrates her further. After Sarap leaves, Kato tells Saigen that he can't keep playing with both women. He suggests that if Saigen really likes Nahir, they should return the house and car and figure out a new way to make a living. Saigen sharply responds, reminding Kato that he took the session with the couple last night because he needed the money, calling him a hypocrite. That night, Saigen has a nightmare about a role-playing session with Sarap mixed with painful memories from his childhood. He wakes up to an urgent phone call from Nahir, who says there's been a fire at her dormitory. Saigen quickly drives to Nahir's place and hugs her, relieved when she assures him she's okay. Since it's too late to call Fulya, Saigen suggests that Nahir stay at his house for now. As they talk, he explains that he's worried about her because his mother died in a house fire years ago. Saigen shares that he was at school when it happened, and Kato tried to save his mother, but he was too small to carry her out. After spending the night on the couch together, Saigen drives Nahir back to her place. Before she leaves, she kisses him on the cheek and says she'll see him later. Later, Saigen tries to reach Sarap to discuss their relationship, but she tells him she's at the hospital. Sarap later tells him that the doctor suspects she might have cervical cancer, so Saigen stays with her as she undergoes more tests. After class, Nahir tries to call Saigen, but he doesn't pick up. Later, Saigen helps Sarap with her clothes, and she asks him what he wanted to talk about, but he tells her it's not important. Meanwhile, Kato receives a message from Fulya. Since he promised not to speak to her again, he decides to distract himself by going to a club. At the club, he dances with a masked woman and injects something into his body. Suddenly, he feels dizzy and collapses in the bathroom. Outside Nahir's dormitory, an apologetic Saigen stands in the rain, singing loudly to get her attention. Nahir initially tries to ignore him, but eventually talks to him. She points out that she waited for him for an hour, and he jokes that getting soaked in the rain makes them even. Saigen explains he had to go to the hospital for personal reasons, and Nahir wonders if he's just going to break her heart again. Nahir asks if Saigen has ever sung for anyone, and he admits he hasn't. He tells her he wants to sing her song, Imaginary Fireworks, one day. Touched, Nahir kisses him. They go to his house, make dessert, and watch a movie. As Nahir explores, Saigen asks if she trusts him. She playfully responds, and they kiss, but he pulls away, apologizing. Later, Nahir asks if she's the problem. Saigen admits she's always on his mind, but tries to forget her because she represents what he's supposed to avoid. Meanwhile, Serap tries calling Saigen, but he doesn't answer. At a party, she overhears her husband flirting with another woman and, in anger, throws a drink in his face. Fulya is shocked, but Serap laughs and walks back inside. At Saigen's place, Kato returns and finds them sleeping on the couch. Saigen asks Kato about his bag, and Kato insists it's none of his business. Concerned, Saigen follows him outside. Meanwhile, Fulya tells her mother that Nahir is ruining her life for a man she barely knows, and reveals that Saigen is close friends with Kato, making Serap realize it's him. Fulya praises her mother for standing up for herself and hopes her father will see reason. After finding illegal substances in Kato's bag, Saigen scolds him, telling him to ruin his life elsewhere. Kato warns Saigen that one day he'll have to find another way to earn a living. The next day, Saigen drives Nahir to school and is surprised to see Serap dropping off Fulya. Nahir introduces him to her friend's mother, and Saigen pretends he doesn't know Serap. Serap subtly hints at the car's origin and suggests they have dinner together soon. In class, Nahir asks Fulya why she doesn't like Saigen. Fulya senses he's hiding something, and Nahir overhears Kato saying Saigen doesn't own the house. Fulya speculates there might be another woman. Saigen tells Serap he plans to move out and thanks her, but she questions his honesty. When asked if he's in love with Nahir, his silence confirms it. Saigen asks Serap not to tell Nahir he's an escort, fearing she won't handle it. Furious, Serap accuses him of choosing Nahir for her youth. She slaps him, disgusted by his deception and bringing Nahir to the house she paid for. Serap warns Saigen to end things with Nahir or she'll expose the truth. After receiving a call about her test results, she asks Saigen to hold her one last time. When Saigen doesn't answer her calls, Nahir visits and discovers Serap in the house. Heartbroken, Nahir realizes Saigen is an escort and leaves. Meanwhile, Kato is caught by a client's husband, leading to a fight. The next morning, Saigen finds Kato dead from a drug overdose. Overcome with grief, he buries his friend and destroys his car. He recalls his childhood when Kato tried to comfort him after their house burned down, and his mother died. Years later, Saigen runs a restaurant. Nahir, recognizing his voice, invites him to her first concert. After a brief conversation, she gives him a ticket, teasing him about her original songs. Saigen promises to attend, and as she leaves, he smiles, seeing the show's name, meaningful to both of them.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay connected with us.